Welcome back to my channel. So what I want to show you today is how you could create these Google Forms, your personalized header, and making it a little more personalized with your questions, pretty similar to your background on your header, or you can make it slightly different, right? But it's really easy because all of these questions that I have, I'm not typing them up. I am going to be using a worksheet I already have, either if you have it in Word, in PowerPoint, or a PDF, you can use this. So this is pretty much my sample quiz or my homework if I want to collect homework that way. I always have a reflection question at the very end, so I'm going to recreate this. So how do I do this? I go to PowerPoint. Each of these slides are exactly in the same order that I'm going to upload them onto my form. So I'm going to start fresh just so you see the whole process from beginning to end. So let me close this off. Don't save that. And I am going to go to File on PowerPoint, New Presentation, and here we go. So I am going to highlight all of this, get rid of it, and I'm going to resize my paper. So two ways you could do that. You could go to File, Page Setup, or you could go to Design, over here to the right, Slide Size, Page Setup. So the only thing I'm changing is the width. The height I'm leaving alone at 7.5. The width I'm changing to 10. This is the layout I tend to use when I'm using Google Forms. Now you could play around with your scaling, but this usually works for the questions that I'm going to input on there. Okay, now I want to change the background of this. So I'm going to go to my tab Design. Let me make this a little bit bigger as well. Up in the background, that's distracting. I'm going to go to Design, Format Background, and it's going to let me change the color if I want a solid color, gradient, picture text, pattern fill, and so forth, right? So what I want to do is I want to use a background that I have saved on my computer already, and I usually download some free backgrounds from Teachers Pay Teachers. So that's what I'm going to do. So I have my Teachers Pay Teachers background paper, and I am going to use exactly the same color that I did. So that one was this thing here. I'm going to pull and drag, and I'm going to extend and extend. So I don't care that there was some background in the back. When I save it, this is what I'm going to see. Next thing I want to input here is I'm going to go to Insert, a shape. So I want a rectangle that's rounded. So let me size it, center it, perfect. And I'm going to fill this in white. So I'm going to go to Shape Fill, White. I want the shape outline to be black, but I want the weight of it to be 6 points. So as thick as possible, just so it stands out. Now that I have that ready to go, I'm going to duplicate this slide. So all I have to do is now input my images on there. So how do you do that? You go to Home, New Slide, Duplicate Slide. It's going to give me exactly the same. Or I could do Command C to copy it. Let me do Command C, Command V, and I could easily duplicate my slide. Now comes the easy part. I have the option of, if I want, I could ask my questions by typing it out. But so many of us have pre-made stuff already. So what I'm going to be using is a pre-made worksheet that I have. So this is the worksheet that I have. I created. I saved it as a PDF, so I'm just going to work with what I have saved it as. If you have this in Word, it's going to work as well. If you have it in my PowerPoint presentation, then that's going to work as well. So this is pretty much the format of my lesson. I have the instruction piece, some examples that we do together, my summary, and then I always make them practice, right? I want them to do as much as possible within the period that I have them, so I could really help people who need my help or my assistance. So what I am doing with the Google form is I'm using I stopped calling it homework. I'm calling it Regents practice problems, because we're pretty much going to be doing a lot of stuff from home anyway. So I am going to just copy the multiple choice questions that I have, and that's my last 2 pages. So now that I have that, I'm just going to space it out. I'm going to put it on the side, and let me just drag this a little bit so I have it right in front of me. So I'm creating kind of like a split screen, I guess, right? I love PowerPoint because of this specific feature. It's going to make my life so much more easier. So I could have some clipping tool, but PowerPoint has that already built in. So if you go to Insert, you see Screenshot, you click on that, Screen Clipping, and all you have to do is you're taking pictures of the questions you have already made. So saving yourself some time. Oh man, I put it in the bottom. Okay, let me do the same thing. Let me just bring this back up. I didn't realize I wasn't in my first slide. Okay, bring it there. So I'm gonna go to slide number 2, Insert, Screenshot, Screen Clipping, and I'm copying my question. Now, if you notice, I am not copying the number, and that's just me personally. I do reuse questions in a review, so I might actually reuse this question in a review, and since I have it already saved as a PowerPoint, I'm just gonna easily copy my slides and make my review that way. So again, saving myself a lot more time. I'm gonna just continue doing this until I copy all the questions I have. So there's my last question. So this actually takes so much less time, since again, I know we all have a whole bunch of tools and lessons and worksheets that we have already made in the past. So all I'm doing is snipping them. Now that I have that, what I'm going to do is my last 2 slides is my are you ready? So you don't need to include this. I personally always do. Are you ready for this? And how do you feel you did, right? So let me, just so I remember, and I want everything to be exactly the same. I am going to just put that like that, and just so I have it there. Okay, so now what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to insert a text box. So right here, I have a text box. Drag it in there, ask your question. So now that I have that, I'm going to highlight all of that, change my font. I have a cartoon font, and my size is probably 60 or so. Center that, and I'll put it where I want it. So if you like black, you leave it like this. I tend to change the color a lot. So I'm going to highlight everything, go to shape format, and over here you see where it says text fill. I'm going to get this blue color or aqua color. So I have it saved already on here. That's why it's that aqua color. But if you don't, again, PowerPoint has this awesome feature, this little drop piece, and I could get any color I like. So let's say I want this purpley color here. It'll change it exactly to that purple. So I could grab colors from wherever I see a color. I like that. So let me get the color that I actually want, which is aqua. And I'm going to also make the outline black. So right here, I have a text outline. I'm going to outline it, and I'm going to make it its weight thicker. So I usually play around with this until I'm like, oh wow, this one looks good. So again, to your liking. That one looks like something I would choose. I have my question. I'm gonna insert my favorite thing of all, my Bitmoji. So I'm going to go to my extension on my Chrome and grab the Bitmoji that I want. I grab it, I drop it, I resize, and I put it where I want. And since I want the same exact font and style for my last question, I am going to just copy paste. Again, Command C, Command V, your favorite buttons on your keyboard is how do you think you did? Okay. And I'm going to add another Bitmoji at the very end. I have center it, put it wherever you like. Now that you have your slide ready to go, let me just put this first slide, my first question at the very top, because that's the first one that I'm going to upload onto the form. So now that I have it ready, all I have to do is I'm going to save this, save as, change the title, save it onto your desktop, your flash drive, your computer, wherever you save your stuff. I'm not going to save it because I already did this process. And what you want to do is export, go to File, Export, and you want to export this not as a PDF, but as a JPEG, because you want to save every single slide onto your, again, wherever you save your documents. So I'm not going to do this, but I'm going to show you how that looks when you save it. So when you save it, right here, when you save your presentation, what PowerPoint does is it creates a folder with all those pictures, right? All those slides as pictures. So I have all my pictures here. So I'm ready to input these pictures wherever I like. So now I'm going to create a new form. So how do you create your new form? You're going to go to a new tab. To make it easy, I'm going to go to form.new, and that automatically opens up a new form for you. You could also go through your drive and click form that way. Title your form, right? 1-1, Regents Practice. It titles it for you. I'm going to just say answer each of the following for my description. Each question below. And I'm going to insert my question. So before I insert any of the PowerPoint questions, I'm going to ask the first question, which is enter your name. Enter your full name. I always say full name because my students sometimes do not write their first and last name. All right, so enter your full name, first and last, short answer, it's required. This little plus gives you your next question. So my next question is always enter your period. So I have for my algebra only period 4 and period 9 this year. Multiple choice, again, required. The next thing I'm going to ask is now using my slides. So the next question would be, are you ready for this quiz or whatever it is, right? This homework questions. So I'm going to start uploading my files. So I'm going to go to this little image piece here, and I'm going to drag from my slide. So now I want to have it right in front of me so I remember which one I'm dragging. So slide number 1, I drag it, it puts it in there, and I'm going to put my multiple choice. Yes, I'm ready. No, I'm not ready. Again, required for you to move on. So I don't care what they answer. If it's yes, that's awesome. If it's no, that just tells me that I'm probably going to need to help them a lot more with this specific lesson. So I do create sections. So at this point, I'm going to break up and make a section. Section 2 is now officially all of my Regents questions. And I'm going to add my first question. Again, I'm not writing anything in here. I'm not numbering. I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to upload. So I'm going to press this little image and drag slide number 2. Make sure you remember what slide you're dragging. And then putting my options in here. So they have everything in the slide. I do not need to retype the answers for them. I'm gonna do it one more time, and then you pretty much get the point of this, right? So you go to your little image, go to your next slide that you have to go to, slide 3, drag and drop. It puts it in there for you. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so forth. So plus image, grab the slide that you're up to, drop it, and you keep going. So the end result is going to be this. Right? You input, all of that. The only thing I didn't do here is show you how you do your header, but I do have a previous video that I did that for, so you could look at that. Really easy to do. Once you have the template of that, you could create a whole bunch of headers for your Google Forms to change them up, change the color, change the format. For the header, I do use Google Slides. It is a little bit easier, I guess, to just create and print, save one. You could use it in PowerPoint as well. But hopefully this is helpful, and this is going to make your forms just a little more fun for your students this year. Enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will be showing you different stuff I have been learning on my own or with others. So don't forget to like this video. See you soon.